What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast and trade setups video for March 10th, 2019. In these videos, I show you my outlook on specific pairs and assets that currently have my interest in the market for the week. This gives you a front row seat week in and week out as to how pure price action analysis can predict big market moves before they happen. Now, if you're not watching these videos, I can tell you it's costing you pips. There have been some killer trades over the past few weeks that have generated hundreds and even thousands, yes, thousands of pips for my viewers. So if banking more pips in the market is a high priority for you, don't miss out on the action and be sure to watch. This week, I am more than excited to get this video underway as we have a lot of currencies to review. So buckle up, take note, and let's get into it. Welcome to Price Action Nation, where we help you go from indicator overload and analysis paralysis to finally trading with clarity and confidence. Here we focus on helping traders become independently profitable by focusing on pure price action. So if you're new, please support the channel and consider subscribing. This week we've got a lot of pairs to cover, so be sure to watch this video in its entirety so you don't miss out on any potential setups. So we're going to kick off things with the Aussie CAD. This is a daily chart. This, of course, is not a new setup. My outlook on this should be no stranger to those of you who have been watching these videos regularly, as you'll know that I'm very bullish on this pair right now. In fact, a week or two ago, I got in long on this pair. I'm currently sitting in on this pair long and will be holding out for this next wave. My expectation is that the market will at least come up and retest this high, but what I'm really holding out for is the move much higher. So a couple things can happen from this point. We could see price break out from where it is right now and head off higher, which I'm hoping is the case as I'm already sitting in this. I happen to get in on this pair down here at these bottoms. However, that doesn't mean it's going to. Price could continue like it has been, continue to correct and consolidate and have another move to the downside. So if that does happen, you guys, good trading's about good preparation. So if this pair does in fact come down and retest these prior lows, especially if it takes these lows out, you can see this area of high interest that I've got highlighted down here. I'll be looking to either add or get back in long on this pair, as I'm quite confident we're going to see new highs created from that point. Aussie Kiwi. Last week we were expecting this pair to fall. That's exactly what it's been doing. It's been falling from where it was previously. We could still easily see this continue to fall. The lower it goes, the better, because that means we'll be getting a much better price, a much more discounted price on this pair for the big upside that will be coming. Okay, mark my words, the move up will be coming. It's just a matter of when. So patience is going to be a very important factor on a trade like this. All right. Now, full disclosure, I'm already in long on this pair. If price gets down lower, I will be looking to add to that position. But if we go to a daily chart, just to show you what I'm viewing here, back in 2015, we had this very, very strong impulsive wave up. And I want you guys to see this because the market, when it's ready to move, can move very quickly, very aggressively. And we had this pair in the past go well over 1,000 pips in a very short period of time. And I see that same likelihood on the horizon. Aussie dollar daily chart. This is another long-term trade outlook that I have. Very bullish on the Australian dollar long-term. So if you don't have patience, don't even consider getting in this, because it's not going to be worth your while if you don't have the patience in the long-term expectation on this. But if you do, this could be really worthwhile and could really significantly add some gains to your account. Down at these levels here, we can see that there's been some beautiful compliance of price so far. Down at these lows, I would consider getting in. In fact, I added to my position down here, and if price does come lower, I will consider adding more. For the time being, I'm pretty content with what I have. However, again, my outlook overall is bullish. That doesn't mean, you guys, it's going to take off right now. That's not what I'm saying. So pay attention to how I'm wording and how I'm saying this. Price could come up. It could come back up to the top of this range. we could see it come back down. It could go back up, and it could come back down again. But eventually this bullish wave, this aggressive, strong, robust bullish wave will be happening. And again, just like the Aussie Kiwi, I want to be sure that I'm in to take advantage of that. Euro Aussie, as forecasted in last week's video, we saw price come right up to the top of this range, as you can see, and has immediately began coming down. This move has already been the amount of almost 200 pips. We could see this continue to the downside all the way to the bottom of this range, but realize that the additional downside is very likely. That doesn't mean it's going to happen on this wave. We could see price come back one more time, and if it does and you're not in this, use it as an opportunity. Take that as a gift the market's giving to you for the opportunity to get back in for when this is ready to come down and break these lows and continue lower. And now you're talking hundreds and hundreds of pips. I know I've got a couple traders already in on this trade right now. If you're in, like I said, congratulations. You are risk-free, you're in profits, and you know the drill. Let your winners run. Euro franc 30-minute chart. This is for me a lot shorter time frame to be looking at. However, I did like what I saw here on the Euro franc. If we see price get back up to the top of this range, this level of supply, I'll be looking for an opportunity to get in short, as the risk compared to the reward is very favorable on this trade, and I will be targeting these lows but holding out ultimately for price to head lower, breaking those lows. Alright, Euro Pound daily chart. Now this is a very big picture viewpoint. This was posted in last week's video. I know a couple of people that are already in this and they're up some very nice profits right now. So you want to be sure that your stop is moved to break even or better, just to protect and manage your risk. We could see price aggressively take off from the levels it is now and come back up to these highs. I am ultimately expecting price to break out of this range and head up higher, as you can see here, back up testing these former highs up at that 9,300 handle. That doesn't mean we can't see price come back one more time and test this level that you can see highlighted down here at the bottom of this structure before we see price head higher. So keep an eye on this. These long-term setups can pay out tremendously. Plan your trade, trade your plan. If we see price come back down and break these lows and make new lows, be definitely on the lookout for longs, ignore the downside, and gear up for this next wave up. Okay, I've come down to a 4-hour chart on the Euro Pound here just so that you can see the greater detail of what's happening. I do see a good likelihood that we're going to see an additional wave to the downside, which, by the way, you could use to trade short. Again, it's all about managing your risk, and for that little bit of risk that you're taking by entering this trade, there's some really nice downside. Now personally, I won't be looking to do so, but I'm not going to be one bit surprised if we see price come up to this area up in here and then have one more wave to the downside, and that is where I'll be looking to get in myself. I am currently in this trade, but with my stop being moved to a slight stop profit. If we do see this wave come down, of course, that is going to take me out of the trade, which is why I'll be looking for an additional opportunity to get back in long. Euro Kiwi daily chart. Wow, we've been keeping an eye on this one for the past several weeks. As you know, myself along with many of our viewers have got in on this on multiple attempts, riding it up, making some nice profits each wave that it's come up. However, as expected, we are seeing another wave back to the downside, and at any moment we could see this next really aggressive wave. This is the move you don't want to miss. This is the move I'm expecting. It's still on the table. Until things structurally change in the market, the forecast of this next wave up is not going to change. Driving down to a 4-hour time frame on the Euro Kiwi, I'm especially going to be focused on price coming down to this area you can see I have highlighted here, this prior low. If price comes down, either tags or breaks this low, that's where I'm going to be considering getting in long. By the way, you guys, before I forget, before we leave the Euro Kiwi, I want to show you something. You see how this price action is forming a very specific pattern? I'm going to show you how in a previous forecast video on the dollar CAD, a setup that myself along with a few of our traders took advantage of is virtually identical to this. Okay, I want to show you guys how this works and instill a little bit of confidence, hopefully have an aha moment for you here. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, this is now the dollar CAD on a 4-hour chart. We're just going to do a little copy paste action here. We're just going to copy all of this, okay, that move right there, and I'm going to copy that. Alright, so now I'm back on the Euro Kiwi and I'm going to paste that, what we just copied. Going to zoom things out a bit here. Can you guys see? You guys see what I'm seeing? Can you guys see how this almost perfectly overlays? You guys see that? So just like on the dollar CAD, how when this move happened, when this price formation was completed, that really took off aggressively. So now you can see why I keep bringing the Euro Kiwi up, because this is the wave I'm intent on capturing. Alright, Euro USD. Now weeks ago in former forecast videos posting on the Euro USD, I'm going to show you what I was forecasting. Okay, so this was back at the beginning of 2019, and these bars in red is sort of what I was speculating. And as you can see, looking for this wave down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as price was coming lower and lower. Eventually breaking this low is what I was ultimately expecting, was this low to be taken out, and expecting this 5-wave sequence to the downside. Alright, now what ended up happening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that's the power of price action. So now that price has come down, it's broke these lows, we could see it come lower, but the downside is what I'm going to be ignoring personally. Doesn't mean you can't trade further downside, and it doesn't mean that there's not additional downside remaining. It's just that in my viewpoint, that's not where the ample reward is. So it's only going to be upside for the time being that I'm going to be interested in, especially if we can see price come down a bit further to some of these more deeply discounted prices before that next wave up. Pound Aussie, downside, bearish on this one. That's ultimately the direction that I want to be riding as this continues down. And as you can see, this has already begun a pretty aggressive move to the downside of hundreds of pips worth. However, it hasn't broken this trend line yet, so that does leave on the table the option for price to come down once it tests this trend line and come back up for an additional higher high. Okay, so be prepared for that possibility to happen as well. However, that does not change the overall outlook, which is bearish, even if price does continue higher for the time being. Pound CAD daily, boy oh boy did this come together just according to plan. Okay, we're already up several hundred pips on this pair from this area as expected to the downside. Due to how strong and aggressive this move down is, I'm going to be surprised if we do see price come up higher. It doesn't mean it's not out of the realm of possibility. It just means that I do see the greater likelihood that this is going to keep trucking on further south. Okay, so if you're not already in short on this, what does that mean? What can you be looking for? Well, if it were me, I would be very patient right now. Price is going to have to correct at some point along its lengthy trek to the downside. And with this trend line being where it is, now is a very likely point in time where we're probably going to see that correction begin to take place. So keep an eye on this pair. If we do see it pull back, especially back up into this range here, broken support, what's it going to behave as, guys? Resistance. And if you're bearish, where do you want to sell at? Areas of resistance, right? Okay, so if and when price corrects back up into this area, be on high alert, maybe set some alerts for yourself, because this next wave to the downside is what you're going to want to be riding. And this correction could happen very, very slowly. We could see price just dance right up along this trend line, up and up and up gradually. However, this next wave down is very likely to happen. pound Kiwi daily chart, we did have this very big, strong, sustained down move, which broke this trend line. And ever since, price has been in this retest phase, okay? Consolidation slash retest phase. So as expected, price came right back up, retested this trend line again, and had an aggressive bout of selling underway. So if you got in, great. If not, no big deal. Don't worry about getting in right now. If price does come back up, which it certainly could do, these are big moves and sometimes they take time to materialize. But if price does come back up here again, be paying attention. Don't forget, because this wave is the one that you don't want to miss. And even if price doesn't correct back that deep, just like the pound CAD, just be patient and wait for a correction on a smaller time frame. Wait for it to come back up into an area like this. Just be patient and wait for price to correct back up into an area like this, so you can be scouting these shorts to the downside with some good tight limited risk. Kiwi CAD 4-hour chart. This is one, in my opinion, that still is looking very juicy. Downside is what's expected. This is the wave I'll be looking for. This is the trade I'm interested in. Downside is what is expected. Pretty cut and dry. Kiwi dollar daily. This is a trade that could take some time to materialize and to set up, but I do want to bring it to your attention, because if we see price drop lower from the levels it's at right now, in fact, if we see it drop significantly lower, a few hundred pips down, breaking this low here and coming down in this area down here, I'll be very much considering a long position for this next wave up on the Kiwi dollar. All right, now we're going to be transitioning out of currencies and looking at silver. So last week I brought to your attention the value in getting in or considering a position down here in silver. As you can see, before price could get all the way down to this level, boy did it take off aggressively. Do you guys think I was the only one thinking what I was thinking about silver? Obviously not, right? So we had some aggressive buyers stepping in. Let me erase that line so you can really see the size of that daily candle. Very strong amount of buying coming in. So let's go down to a smaller time frame and see what we can find. Okay, now looking at a 4-hour chart, you can see we got this really nice trend line. Is it any wonder we saw buyers coming in where they did? No, not really, is it? So what to do now at this point? Well, what I'll be doing is keeping an eye out for price to correct something like this in this nature. And if it does, and especially if we can get price to correct back to this trend line, that's where I'll be looking out for a trade to the upside there for that next wave. All right, we're going to take a look at copper. This is a daily chart. I'm looking for shorts at this point and expecting downside on the horizon. And we've already seen a little bit of selling come in, not very strong, but nevertheless a bit of selling come in. I've got this trend line drawn in, which hasn't broke yet. So we could certainly still see price come up again, take out these highs and come up into these levels, which if it does, I'm really going to be viewing that as a great opportunity to be getting short on copper for this next wave down. Alright, and to wrap things up for this week's video, gonna mix things up by checking out the Nifty. Now this is an alternative stock index. This is India's stock index, actually, their equities market. So there's a beautiful setup on this right now. Now I understand this is a bit of a different asset class to trade, but nevertheless I want to take this as an opportunity to really showcase how price action analysis works regardless of the asset, regardless of the market, or regardless of the currency pair you're trading. So wanting to show you this just because I think it would be one, fun to follow, and of course, as you can see, my outlook on this is bearish, anticipating this next nice leg to the downside.
If you want to start benefiting from the power of price action analysis in your own trading and take advantage of trade setups just like this one sent directly to your phone, then what are you waiting for? Join our free Telegram channel where I'm posting trade ideas and analysis regularly. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you never miss out on the latest action going on in the markets. Stay tuned as I'm committed to generating the very best content geared to help you make a positive shift in your own trading. Question of the day.
What currency pair or trade setup has you most interested and most excited for the week? Please post it in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. That's going to wrap things up for this week's video. I hope you found it helpful, and I hope to see you in the next video. Until next time, best of luck in your trading.